merely the enhancement of the sound and just transferring the sound into the ears. It's also about to deal with the reduced dynamic range. So when I talk about dynamic range, it means the range of usable hearing, which starts from right from our threshold and it reaches up to our tolerance limit. So amplification device is not supposed to only amplify the sound, it also has to keep the tolerance limit in the consideration whenever we are prescribing the amplification device. And the another thing is it also has to deal with the decreased temporal resolution. When I'm talking about temporal resolution, means time related, duration related aspects of sound, and also frequency resolution, which actually contributes a lot to the speech intelligibility. So coming on to the types of amplification devices available. So we have broadly three categories of devices. First is traditional hearing aids, then hearing implants, and assistive listening devices. So we'll see one by one. The first is hearing aid. So you can see the inner components of the hearing aid. It has a microphone which basically picks up the sound and converts it into the electrical impulse, and then amplifier amplifies the sound, and then receiver transfers it to the ear through ear hook and ear mold. And these all to provide power supply for all these functions, we have batteries, and nowadays we have rechargeable hearing aids also. So this is a journey of hearing aid right from the 17th century. So earlier, as you can see, there are horns and trumpets, and then slowly this is a hearing chair. So you might have seen a Hollywood movie, Deaf King. So in that, this chair was displayed, and these are horns and trumpets in 1800th century. And right from there we have reached to the present, where we have invisible in the canal hearing aids. I'll be discussing in invisible in the canal hearing aids in upcoming slides. So this is how hearing aid has been evolved during the different eras, and rightly, as Albert Einstein said, measure of intelligence is the ability to change. Okay, so this is what the change has already been occurred in the hearing aid industries. This is the time of a digital era. Everything is digitized, so the hearing aid also uses digital signal processing, and due to which the clarity has been improved leaps and bounds. Earlier hearing aids, which are analog hearing aids, were not that clear. Nowadays we have digital signal processing, and now AI based hearing aids are also there. So what exactly AI does in hearing aids? AI basically assesses the environment automatically and turns on the profile. For example, if you are in a restaurant scenario and sitting with your partner, you need to listen to your partner and you need to avoid the background noise. So AI will automatically cancel out the environment. So earlier, with the pure digital hearing aids, we need to provide the program to the client so that he can change with the press of a button, or sometimes with higher class of hearing aids, we also provide remotes. But nowadays, no need to change any program. AI will automatically assess the environment and that program will take over automatically. So AI based hearing aids are the present day reality. And these are the types of hearing aid. As you can see, this is the bigger behind the ear hearing aids, and currently this is receiver in the canal. If you can see, the hook is removed and receiver is connected to a very thin tube, and by this the body of the hearing aid has been reduced, so it can hide inside the patient's ear. And similarly, we have gone to completely in the canal and invisible in the canal. These are the different styles of hearing aids available. So this is the old hearing aid that is called as body level hearing aid. So if you talk to a normal people in general in community, if you talk about hearing aid, the first image which comes inside the person's mind is this body level bulky hearing aid. So they associate first with this, and that's a major stigma. When I'll be talking about stigmas, I'll be discussing about these things. So this is the hearing aid image which is being portrayed in our community in general. And but we have CIC completely in the canal, ITC in the canal, and high-rise hearing aids, receiver in the ear hearing aids, BTE behind the ear hearing aids, and power BTEs also. And this is invisible in the canal hearing aid. In the figure you can see this is the CIC, which came in 2000s, and this you can see if you just dwell inside the patient ear, you can see the CIC. But if you talk about new IIC, it goes deep inside the canal, and a very thin transparent tube kind of thing comes out, which helps the patient to pull out this hearing aid. So this is called as invisible in the canal hearing aid, which is not at all completely visible from outside, and that actually is very good for young age people who faces the hearing loss, and they are very adamant to go for the hearing aid or the amplification device because of the cosmetic issues. So this invisible in the canal hearing aid basically addresses that issue very nicely. Now coming to implantable hearing aids, there are implantable hearing aids for middle ear. So whenever the middle ear issues cannot be treated through medicine or surgery, we go for these devices. So we have bone anchored hearing aid called as BAHA in short, and middle ear implants. So in BAHA we have it's a partially implantable device, and nowadays headband BAHAs and outer devices are also available. So here we have a sound processor and a titanium abutment which has been drilled inside the ear, and the sound is being captured by the outer sound processor and gets converted into the magnetic waveforms which has been picked up and sent to the ear. Similarly, we have middle ear implants where there are two types of implants, totally implantable and partially implantable. Here in the partially implantable you have an external unit which is detachable, and the internal unit which is crimped upon the ossicles. So these are the implantable hearing aids, implantable hearing solutions available for middle ear. Now coming to inner ear implants, the most common is cochlear implant, and we are privileged enough to perform almost 3 to 4 cochlear implants every month nowadays. And in cochlear implants we have two units, the external component, as you can see, the black one is the external component, and the inner implant is the other one which is at this part. The second one is the internal implant, and the small picture is of the console processor, which is actually over the head unit, which is again a cosmetical replacement of the behind the ear cochlear implant unit. And as you see in the figure, basically cochlear implant bypasses the natural hearing. So here the electrode has been inserted inside the cochlea, and outer unit picks up the sound, converts it into the electrical waveforms which has been carried to the auditory cortex through auditory nerves. That's what the cochlear implant does. And the next thing is auditory brainstem implants. So there are cases like Michel's aplasia, congenital abnormality cases, Michel's aplasia, where the entire cochlear apparatus is absent. So in these cases, brainstem implant can be done, which stimulates the cochlear nucleus. Because the tonotopicity of the cochlea remains same up till auditory cortex, so we can also do auditory brainstem implant. Here is a small device comparison. If you can see the device on the extreme, on this one is the cochlear implant, and this one is the auditory brainstem implant. The external unit remains the same for both the implants. The difference between both implants are the electrodes. See, in cochlea these shiny parts are electrodes, whereas in auditory brainstem implant, brush-shaped electrodes are there. So this is the difference between cochlear implant and auditory brainstem implant. The only difference is in the site of stimulation and the type of electrode. And the next last hearing implant is midbrain implants. So in the cases like NF2 tumors, even the auditory brainstem implants could not be done. So there we need to stimulate inferior colliculus, which is an important part of your auditory pathway. So the midbrain implants. At the end, we have assistive listening devices. So it's not fair to call them amplification devices because they don't amplify the sound, but they assist the hearing aid and other amplification devices for the sound transmission. So basically, they remove the barrier of the transmission by using the technologies like FM system, infrared system, Bluetooth, and hearing loops. So basically, it makes environment a better place for a sound to transmit. So these are the different assistive listening devices which are used with hearing aids and cochlear implants to improve the listening. Now coming to stigma. So that's a topic which has to be discussed in these kind of conferences and meets because it's a major challenge in front of all audiologists. As an audiologist, I'm able only to convince 3% people to purchase a hearing aid. So for that, there are many things. So first is ageism. Ageism means a feeling of getting older. So hearing aid has always been associated in our society with the age. So if somebody is wearing the hearing aid, it means he is very old. So these kind of concepts are there in our society, which is a very big stigma. The next is visibility and aesthetics. So if I'm wearing something in my ear, so it is considered to be very unaesthetic and people will consider that I have some kind of disability in me. So that is something which is again a very big stigma. Then past negative experiences, as I have told when I was showing you a body level bulky hearing aid. So here we all are health professionals. We know about behind the ear hearing aid and we might have seen behind the ear hearing aid in some or the other times. But if you talk to a normal individual or a non-medico, he has a perception of that bulky hearing aid. So as soon as you tell a patient that you need a hearing aid, he'll be like, "अरे नहीं वो बहुत भारी सा pocket में तार जाता है. I'm not ready to purchase that. It looks very bad. People might make fun of mine." Okay, so that perception has to be changed. So first of all, the thought that hearing aid is bad, hearing aid looks bad, it's not cosmetically appealing. That thought has to be addressed. Then comparison to glasses, hearing aid has not been achieved acceptability among a general population. So we all know that wearing glasses are nowadays a symbol of fashion, or it's a kind of a fashion statement. New lenses are there, new frames are coming every day. Brands like Lenskart and everything are coming nowadays. So that comparison with the glasses has to be done, and we need to normalize hearing aids just like glasses. It's a way longer journey, but we need to do that. And at last, the solutions. The first solution is raising awareness. We need to raise awareness about hearing loss, how impactful it is. Okay, because if somebody only has a hearing loss, he thinks that okay, it's not going to harm me anymore because it's manageable. Until and unless it becomes moderately severe or severe degree of hearing loss, people don't pay any attention to the hearing loss, and that's very unfortunate. So you need to spread the awareness about the hearing loss and its impact, so that people should feel that it is very important for us to go for a hearing aid. Then emphasizing on technologies, as I told, IICs, invisible in the canal hearing aids, are available. But what I personally feel is hearing aid industries have been focusing very much into reducing the size. Instead of that, we should have made the hearing aid a fashion statement. You can ask me how it is possible. But nowadays, if you can see, this kind of TWS earphones everybody is carrying, and everybody is wearing these kind of earphones everywhere, inside the airports. Everywhere you can see people wearing these kinds of TWS earphones, right? And nobody is telling that you are a hearing impaired, or no such stigma is associated with these earbuds. So I think now company has started thinking in these lines, because Resound and Widex are the two hearing aid companies which have already launched TWS kind of hearing aids. So which a patient can wear, and people will think that okay, he is wearing a earphones. and slowly other companies are also going to come with these kinds of TWS hearing aids. But the problem is they are higher on the price. And the next thing is positive role models. So I would like to mention few of the we should have a positive role models in the community to emphasize the hearing aid users. For example, Syed Kirmani, former wicketkeeper Indian cricket team, he is brand ambassador of Videx, and Kapil Dev is brand ambassador of Hearing Care. So more such people should come out so that they can become a positive role model of our society. And the last thing is to encourage the early adoption. So as we have discussed a lot in hearing screening program, early detection and early adoption of amplification devices leads to bring a great change in the society. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank you.